Speaking of deportation orders and withholding orders, we're going to talk about another horrifying case that just took place. Mohsen Madawi, a Palestinian-born green card holder and a student at Columbia University deeply involved in the pro-Palestinian activism, who had previously been interviewed by 60 Minutes, as a matter of fact, has been arrested by HSI agents in Vermont in the middle of his appointment to become a U.S. citizen. Remember, this is a naturalization appointment. Madawi grew up in a Palestinian refugee camp in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, where his childhood was shaped by the Second Intifada. He experienced significant personal losses, including the death of his best friend during a confrontation with Israeli soldiers when he was 10 years old. He later studied computer engineering at Birzeit University in Palestine from 2008 to 2014, before enrolling at Columbia University in New York, where he pursued studies in philosophy at the School of General Studies. At Columbia, he has organized protests and events addressing the Israeli genocide. Madawi has also emphasized the empathy and dialogue as pathways to justice and peace. He has participated in initiatives fostering cross-cultural understanding between Palestinians and Israelis on campus. Here is how he was. Here is what took place. Exclusive footage. Columbia student and Palestinian Mohsen Madawi, who is an American green card holder in the process of getting his naturalization, was just arrested in Colchester, Vermont. Now that we've seen Chris Van Hollen take action, strong action against this, my expectation is that Bernie Sanders does something similar here, by the way. I think he should. He absolutely should. This happened 4 minutes away from my office, only like an hour after Rameza's hearing in Burlington. Yeah, Rameza's hearing happened in Burlington, Vermont as well today. Here he is giving an interview to 60 Minutes. Let's take a look at what he had to say in this interview at 60 Minutes.
What was your initial reaction when you heard about the Hamas attack on October 7th?
I could not believe what my eyes were seeing, where I see Hamas members getting into settlements and so on. But also the first moment I saw that, I put my hand on my heart and I started praying, knowing that there will be a huge level of revenge from the Israelis. And I was praying that this will not be the result, because it would be disastrous.
The night of the rally, I believe someone in the crowd said something very anti-Jewish, not just anti-Israeli, but anti-Jewish.
Yes, this was as a walkout on November 9th. And a person who is not affiliated with Columbia, we've never seen him, we don't know who is this guy, comes down the stairs yelling, "Death to Jews." I was shocked, and I walked directly to the person and I told him, "You don't represent us because this is not something that we agree with." And directly what I've done, I took the megaphone and I gave a speech and I said...
This is why I said that these guys demonstrated phenomenal messaging discipline and showed, I think, movements for the future, okay? That this is exactly how you're supposed to keep an airtight protest. The protest marshals were incredible. From what I saw and to the with all the people that I talked to at these camps, these student encampments, they were incredible. They were literally perfect victims. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't have to be, but they still were. And the Biden administration still turned turned a blind eye to the insane police enforcement against these students and actively championed it. And then the Trump administration now is putting the final nail in the coffin. This is truly horrifying.
We here are conscious, educated students, and we know how to separate right from wrong. And what this guy has said...
This is the person that the Trump administration is working on deporting. He's a green card holder. He is a green card green card holder in the process of applying for citizenship, and they took him away from a court hearing to try and deport him. This is that person.
It is wrong. What this guy has said is clearly anti-Semitic against Jews.
Anti-Semitic.
To be anti-Semitic is unjust, And the fight for the freedom of Palestine and the fight against anti-Semitism go
Citizenship interview, not a court hearing, sorry. I mean, they took him away from the course, though, no?
hand in hand, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
It's horrible, man. It's
My
horrifying.
name is Becca White. I'm a state senator. I'm outside of a building in Colchester, Vermont. My friend Mosen is being handcuffed. He is inside the building here in Colchester. He is a Palestinian man. He is an Upper Valley resident. He is being detained, is our understanding, inside of 463 in Colchester.
They would deport him to an Israeli prison, by the way. That's where he would get deported to, or CCOT. I don't know.
He's inside the building. We don't know what side he's going to be coming out of the building. I'm here.
A judge
I'm gonna
quickly
go
blocked
live.
Columbia University
I'm
protester
going to stay
Mohsen
live
Madawi from
until
being
we
removed
see
from the
him.
U.S.
We don't know where he is going or what's happening, but he is going to be, we don't know what's happening.
Looks like ICE database confirms detention of Columbia University anti-Israel activist Mohsen Madawi, although it lists his birthplace. This is a New York correspondent for Times of Israel, by the way. So just understand, like, the messaging on this, the way he's talking about it is going to be a little weird. Columbia University anti-Israel activist Mohsen Madawi, although it lists his birthplace as Jordan and he was born in the West Bank, the database does not have a category for the Palestinian territories. And a judge has now blocked Columbia University protester Mohsen Madawi from being removed from the United States.
He's been handcuffed. So the other gentleman went to the front. If you want to go to the front, so we'll stay here.
We saw this part.
Him with vehicle. Senator Becca White. Hi there, this is Senator Becca White. I'm standing outside of the building again. I'm out front. While we were down in the back, they came and took him with vehicles. How many cars do you think took him?
Well, 4.
There were 4 vehicles. Again, this happened in Colchester, Vermont. Mosen has been taken. He has been detained. Supposedly, they're revoking his green card. He has been taken from Colchester. So there were 2 cars who parked and then another 2, and they came and took him. We've called the federal delegation. We've reached out to Bernie Sanders' office.
Akila spoke at length with Mohsen last night. He said he was in good spirits. I asked what he thought would happen to him today. He said best case he hoped he'd come out a U.S. citizen, and in worst case the naturalization interview would turn into a honey trap for ICE. And that's precisely what happened. That is precisely what happened. A green card holder, Columbia University protest leader Mohsen Madawi faced attacks from pro-Israel activists. Mohsen Madawi arrived at the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services office in Colchester, Vermont on Monday. A Palestinian student at Columbia University. He hoped that after 10 years in the United States, he would pass the test to become a naturalized citizen. Instead, agents from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement arrested him and began the process to deport him to the occupied West Bank. Madawi, a leader of the campus protest movement against Israel's war on Gaza, became yet another green card holder arrested and is facing removal. Mohsen Madawi was unlawfully detained today for no reason other than his Palestinian identity, Madawi's attorney Luna Druby said in a statement to The Intercept. He came to this country hoping to be free to speak about the atrocities he had witnessed, only to be punished for such speech. Madawi's lawyers filed a habeas corpus petition on Monday morning challenging the legality of his detention, alleging the government was violating his statutory and due process rights by punishing him for speech related to Palestine and Israel. The filing said it appears that Madawi was facing deportation under the obscure provision used in recent cases that gives Secretary of State Marco Rubio the right to unilaterally declare immigrants as threats to American foreign policy. He was a green card holder, and this was a naturalization process for him. and it was a honey trap for illegal detention. Madawi was one of the leaders of the pro-Palestine students' protest movement until spring 2024, when he said he took a step back from the movement to focus on building bridges with Jewish and Israeli communities on campus. In December 2023, Madawi asked Columbia professor Shai Davide, a controversial pro-Israel figure at the school, to get coffee. The two met, but Madawi later said that Davide left in the middle of the coffee. Less than 2 months after the meeting, Shai Davide posted a video of Madawi to a Twitter thread characterizing him and other protest organizers as anti-Semitic and pro-Hamas. Davide did not immediately respond to a request for a comment. Since then, Madawi became a focus of the attacks from a member of Congress. I wonder who that member of Congress is, chat. Richie Torres, I suspect. Oh, never mind. It's not Richie Torres. Shocking. It's actually Representative Beth Van Dyne. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Richie Torres didn't get involved in this. And groups like Canary Mission and Beitar. With Donald Trump's inauguration, by the way, Shai Davide is not an American citizen, just so you know. With Donald Trump's inauguration, groups like Beitar and Canary Mission have been at the center of a push to place scrutiny on foreign students active in campus pro-Palestine movements. At Columbia, one behind-the-scenes push came from a WhatsApp group that included alumni and faculty who organized to get the students deported. Davide was a member of the group, though there's no indication he participated in talk of deportation, whether about Madawi or other students. Even before his friend and fellow Columbia activist Mahmoud Khalil was arrested by immigration authorities, Madawi asked university administrators to help him find a safe place to live so he would not be taken by ICE agents, according to emails reviewed by The Intercept. The school did not in response, Madawi said. Did nothing in response. They didn't do shit. After ICE abducted Khalil last month, Madawi sheltered in place for more than 3 weeks for fear of being picked up himself. Instead of taking him off the street, however, immigration authorities scheduled a citizenship test at the Colchester USCIS office and took Madawi into custody when he arrived. They literally set him up to detain him. Now Madawi is facing an order to deport him to the occupied West Bank, where escalating attacks from both Israeli military and Jewish settlers have led to increased casualties among Palestinians. It's kind of a death sentence, Madawi said, because my people are being killed unjustly in an indiscriminate way. Bernie Sanders' office has also immediately released a statement. Sanders, Welch, Balint statement on Trump detaining Mohsen Madawi. Earlier today, Mohsen Madawi of White River Junction, Vermont, walked into an immigration office for what was supposed to be the final step in his citizenship process. Instead, he was arrested and removed in handcuffs by plainclothes armed individuals, their faces covered. These individuals refused to provide any information as to where he was being taken or what would happen to him. This is immoral, inhumane, and illegal. Mr. Madawi, a legal resident of the United States, must be afforded due process under the law and immediately released from detention. Beitar in January, I assume.
Thank you.
Yeah, Columbia jihadi visa holder. Oh, God. This is what Beitar posted about him.
For being here today in solidarity with Columbia University students and against Columbia University administration. Brothers and sisters, I say thank you as a Palestinian refugee born and raised in a refugee camp as a third generation. I say thank you as a child who witnessed his best friend getting killed, shot on the hands of an Israeli soldier in front of his eyes. Thank you. I say thank you as a child who lost his uncle when he was 11 years old. Shame! My uncle Thayer was shot in the head twice and in the shoulder once on the hands of IDF terrorist soldiers. Shame on them. Shame! I say thank you as a child who witnessed a strike, an explosion. And after this explosion, I saw 7 people shattered into pieces in front of my eyes. I had to collect their body parts in my own hands, to collect fingers from the ground and peel off skin from the walls. Shame on you, Israel. Shame! I say thank you as a child who was shot in his leg when I was 15 years old on the hand of an Israeli soldier. And I come here today as a witness, as a living witness to the Israeli apartheid, to the Israeli oppression.
Why is Beitar posting W's? Because they're freaks. Because they can get away with it. Because this administration is literally working alongside them. That's why they post this stuff.
Oh yeah.
No,
What happened? You called Sanders' office? Okay.
talked to Becca and
I've called David, but I haven't heard back. So if you have anybody who you could
do you
call.
want me to call Ryan?
Yeah, call Ryan. Yeah. So this is like a serious situation. Our friend Mosen, I think this is the first thing like this that has happened in Vermont. I mean, this is outrageous. This is like I think this, I don't even know how to describe it. He was told that he was kidnapped. He was kidnapped. Yeah, so this is a constituent. This is a person. This is a great person. I'm not quite sure what to do now. We're in a weird position.
Thank you for your support over the years.
Should I post the video on Instagram? The video of him being taken on Instagram?
You can post that on there.
Okay.
I posted it on Twitter.
You posted it on Twitter?
As I did it for my journalist group.
Okay.
So yeah, you can post it.
Then.
We already covered this. Here are
Turning to Burlington
protesters
right now, a
in
federal
Burlington rally outside the detention hearing for international student Rumeysa Öztürk.
judge is hearing arguments for the release of Rumeysa Öztürk, the Tufts University student who was detained by ICE back in March. Öztürk was briefly held in Vermont before her transfer to a detention facility in Louisiana. So her lawyers filed a petition while she was still here. That's why the case is in Burlington today. NBC5's Charlotte Hancock joins us live right now outside of the courthouse. Charlotte, what's the latest on what's happening inside?
Yeah, so right now, attorneys on both sides are still arguing on who has jurisdiction. They're also still arguing on where her appeal should have been filed. Acting U.S. Attorney Michael Drescher argued on behalf of immigration authorities, and he argues that the district court judge doesn't have jurisdiction to release Öztürk because her case is an immigration case. Öztürk has several lawyers in the courtroom today. They've argued that her arrest was unconstitutional, claiming that she does not need to be in prison to go through the removal process, and that she was never notified that her visa was revoked before her arrest. Her attorneys also claim the government used her arrest to send a message for people who speak out against administration's beliefs. This has to do with an op-ed Öztürk wrote at Tufts University commending the war in Gaza. Today, activists from the Vermont Coalition for Palestine Liberation rallied for her release.
By the way, the State Department openly admitted, according to John Hudson's reporting from the Washington Post yesterday, that they have zero evidence for Hamas support. Like nothing. No evidence whatsoever. Nothing anti-Semitic was ever said. Yeah, State Department, zero evidence. John Hudson's scoop for Washington Post. Days before masked immigration and customs agents detained Tufts University student Rumeysa Öztürk to deport her, the State Department determined that the Trump admin had not produced any evidence showing that she engaged in anti-Semitic activities or made public statements supporting terrorist organizations, as the government has alleged. Which, by the way, is still not this. I need people to understand something. Even if she had done this, which she did not do, but even if she had done this, that is not a reason for deportation. You cannot deport someone for this, okay? That is still not deportable. And I'm very worried that like a lot of people are hyper focusing on these perfect victims and because like the administration is actively trying to deport these people that have not even done any wrongdoing beyond that, like that I'm worried that the next time there is someone who has said something anti-Semitic, people are going to be like, well, this guy was anti-Semitic. It does not matter. Okay, saying anti-Semitic, saying things that the administration could perceive as anti-Semitic, or actually saying anti-Semitic is not a deportable offense. It is protected by the First Amendment. This is very important for people to understand. It is not a crime to be anti-Semitic. It is inappropriate. I don't agree with it. It does not matter. You cannot deport someone for this, okay?
We're here today in solidarity with her, demanding her immediate release and reparations be paid to her, and all of her rights as a student, as a person in this country, be immediately reinstated, and a public apology issued by the Trump administration. Our democracy is at stake, and we will not be intimidated. We will not go back into the shadows. We will defend everybody under attack without exception.
Stop doing this. Stop. I hate when dumb fucks go, they're going to clip you for this. Like, okay, let them. Shut the fuck up. I don't care. It's the truth. Like,
Lawyers for Ozturk will continue to make their case this afternoon, and then the U.S. attorney will have an opportunity to respond. We'll continue to follow the latest and give you updates. Live in Burlington, I'm Charlotte Hancock, NBC 5 News.